Main Dragon, what's good, y'all? Your boy is back with his first Genesys deck profile, and it's only fitting that it's a Dragon Ruler deck, seeing how I was one of the first people to top with it in the TCG and the Rizal Malice format nonetheless. But I'm not here to brag, let's get to it. So with the Genesys, I feel as though the Dragon Rulers, they cost a bit of points, and I have many variants of this deck and how it can be used. Coming soon, by the way, but I will show you like a pure variant. It's more of a control version. I'm going to choose to go turbo hyper offense. It can break boards. It can establish an amazing board going first. It's insane. It can play through Fua. It can play through draw. And even if I don't want to give you a lot of draws with Fua, depending on your deck, I can floodgate you and win that way. Or I can just go full combo and see if you can out me. The deck has a built-in towers that most decks can't beat anyway, in the form of disaster. And even outside of that, because he helps break boards, the deck just turbos out so many powerful bodies that I can just beat over most monsters to begin with. I have a few spicy techs that I will go into details after I go over the main deck list. So it's 40 cards. They can be altered. This version goes with 3 of the big rulers except for Blaster. It's going to be 2 Blasters, 3 Titles, 3 Tempests, 3 Redox. This version don't really have hand traps outside of Zephyr. You can choose to run Droll and Fua and Valor because they don't cost that many points, by cutting down on the big rulers to making them 2 each. This version in particular, choose to max out, and I'm running the small Red Eyes package with the Red Eyes Black Meteor and Red Eyes, where Meteor sends Red Eyes as a cost to summon itself, and then he makes himself a level 7. So this is just an extra extender to go into extra bodies and plays for exceed summoning. 3 of the baby rulers. Like I've said in the past, the baby rulers are the heart and soul of the deck. This allows you to turbo out your big rulers without wasting their effects, any of their effects, and it's a free body, and it floods the graveyard so you can have more removals to summon them. So 3 streams, 3 burners, 3 lightnings, and 3 reacting. And then of course you got to go with the goat flickers, spectral, and 1 nebulous. In the TCG, nebulous isn't really needed because it takes too much to set up. But in the Genesys format, it overperforms. It comes in clutch, and then the following turn, assuming that they can't beat you, Flickers and Nebulous comes in clutch to revive the big versions of them. So you can go into disaster. Of course, 3 here to be Dragon. The card is insane in Genesys format. It's basically like an E-Telly for the deck. Extra extenders to keep going. And on your opponent's turn, if I got both Eclipse and Chasma, I can go into disaster on my opponent's turn and banish their whole board. Now, let's get to the spicy tech. So normally we would have Kokimir with Draeguy or Archlord KRISTYA, or the Morphage cards, the level 6 or the level 8, where it says your opponent neither player can special summon from the extra deck besides the Morphage cards. Konami did a good job of basically banning those cards from the 100 cap pool, but they forgot a few cards. So I instead is running a Aurora Paragon, which is a mini Floodgate, and I'll show how it's used. And this version of the Dragon Rulers comes in clutch. You just time to special summon it once you know that they're about to special summon, or immediately after they normal summon. Once they waste the normal summon, you summon this. That's it for the rest of the turn. Because typically most decks only got 1 normal summon outside of Archmage, but that's another story for another day. And then I have Light and Darkness Dragon. Can be searched, and in the Genesys format, most decks can't out this. They'll need 4 cards, and then even if they want to try to normal summon and try to beat over it, typically he'll be next to Volfor in this, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce his name, or Chasma. Chasma can pop with Blaster's effect, so I'll destroy their normal summon. So this card is super hard to out, and even if they out, he floats into a body, so he'll get rid of minimum of 2 cards on average, and sometimes 3 or 4 depending on the deck I'm going against. Just hard to out. And then this crazy guy, Wandering Titan, this is basically a Zeus or a nuke, so to speak. I can send this with Chasma by sending Title, and I send this to the graveyard, and his effect, if he's sent from the deck to the graveyard, I can send as many cards as I control. Most likely it'll be 2 or 3 cards to the graveyard, and then non-target send that many cards on my opponents, up to that many cards on my opponent's side of the field to the graveyard, and special summon himself. So Chasma can essentially, after I use Eclipse effect and negate a spell trap, after I use this guy to pop any face-up card, and they run it through all their resources, basically I'll send this, if I had to, assuming I don't want to floodgate them depending on the matchup. I'll send this and I can get rid of their entire field or their most important cards and then summon him. And then even if they out him, he can pitch a card from my hand to send a card on the field to the graveyard, non-target. Both his effects are non-target, so he's amazing. Of course, he's an Earth too, so he can be used for redox or reactant. And then for my other floodgates that I have in my side deck, depending on the matchup, this card is insane. Reptilian Servant. Now you might be wondering, why is that card used? It's useless. He has a random effect that says neither player can normal summon a monster while this card is face up on the field. Now, depending on the matchup, where I see it's a deck that relies too much on normal summons, I'll turbo this out during the draw phase of my opponent's turn, and I'll protect it with Spell and Trap protection, or I'll pop my opponent's first special summon monster, depending on the matchup, and see if they can out it. Basically, they got to go into the battle phase. If I see if it's a special summon type of deck, I'll summon Paragon. If I see that it's a normal summon type of deck where they need the normal summon to pop off, I'll summon him. If I get both of them on the field, my opponent just can't summon. They lose. And then I have these twins, a Testudo, a Rot Newman, and Newman, a Rot Testudo. Newman, a Rot says neither player can special summon monsters with 1800 or less attack. So, like in the Malice deck, if I summon this, Malice can't summon, period. All their monsters are under 1800. That's just it. It's game. And then if I summon this against any of the bigger decks, like a mirror match, so to speak, they can't summon anything outside of this guy, but that's neither here nor there. But my point is, most decks, boss monsters, fusion monsters, all this stuff are over 1800, so now they can't summon. So either or, depending on the matchup, I'll side these in, or you can main deck it, depending on your locals, or the format in hand. Overall, deck is still amazing, can turbo out, exceeds like it's no business. The point system as of October is 97 points total, so it's under the cap. I chose to go with Zeus. You don't have to go with Zeus. You can use Zeus's points and the other 3 points, so 23 points to go into 3 Fuas, 3 Drolls, 3 Ash, any of those 3. Or you can even go a little bit lower and use like Ghost Ogre, Ghost Mourner, where they're 5 points. You can customize it. You can run Super Polys if you want to. Whatever you prefer. I just decided to go Zeus just because this deck can abuse Zeus and it's a good contingency plan. But yeah, this is the updated version. I will go over a few examples of the combos, and I'll also go over a few replays of showing the deck in action.